I sold peanuts. Listen, I was an entrepreneur back then. You understand? So hard work I ain't scared of no hard work. I work 7. They said, man, you going over there in Bon Tom? I said, get me some cake. them old women have tomatoes and cake and pie, and you coming over to see them, that's the West African way of treating people. Don't tell me I can't do that. Hello, somebody. All right, this is it. What I put seven things in your deal there. But here's what I think we're going to have to do. We will have to, and I would like to talk with you more about it, in setting up a national medical review board.
Wow.
So when your doctor runs into this foolishness, we can take and look at that National Medical Review Board, let them submit what happened, and let us then start dealing with it. You follow what I'm saying? Because we can't do it by ourselves. Most of us don't know how to fight. I mean, most of us, you go through med school, you can't get in no trouble. All of a sudden you get out, here you see a Medicare card, and you're a criminal. Oh my God, he's cheating the government. Oh God, it must be something wrong with him, it's fraud. Yeah, I said, man, I don't even care if I get paid or not. Yeah, so I suggest that we look at setting up a National Medical Review Board. Medical students, pre-medical students, nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, they all pay a annual fee. When they run into an issue, peer review or whatever the case is, we'll go through the case. For instance, do you actually believe they want a jury to see that woman with a 72-year-old woman? I could take that before Forsyth County, Georgia, with the Klansmen with all their hoods on, and they would vote in my favor. Okay? So they don't want this case to get out. But we're going to get this case out.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Now, we've gone a little over, and we're going to bring it on back. And I'm going to introduce to you at this time Sister Wana Elwali. Did I do okay? Okay. I knew I mispronounced it at first. I told her, please beg my pardon. She said, well, you're not from Dallas. I give you a pass. And she wants to present up there so she can use the podium. I'm going to ask the other presenters if they're okay to form a circle after she gets done, and they're okay with presenting down here on the floor. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Ashe. My name is Wana Al-Wali. I chair the Dallas Local Organizing Committee and have been doing that since 1995 with Minister Jeffrey Muhammad. Before I even get started, let's give Dr. Edwards another round of applause. Can you hear me okay now? Some of you may have the brochure that I created that Brother Rogers distributed in a plastic cover. I'm not going to go over that, but that is what Brother Rogers considered to be the perimeter of the immense subject of criminal justice. Was information on political prisoners held in U.S. cages for decades. Some of you might know about the freedom fighter who escaped from a New Jersey prison in 1979 and successfully sought political asylum in Cuba. It is not just the new generation that needs schooling on political prisoners. The larger social justice movement also needs to be reminded of those whose political views and activities captured the attention of the FBI and who were caught in its net of deception and lawlessness. The United States government is imprisoning dozens of political prisoners and prisoners of war. The Jericho movement is raising up their voices and working for their amnesty and freedom. The plight of two such black men has recently come into the spotlight. Before I focus on their stories, a brief primer on U.S. political prisoners. The criminalization of resistance is not new. It has a long and ugly history. Black, Latino, Native Americans, and white activists fighting for liberation, peace, and the preservation of the planet ended up on the same FBI list. COINTELPRO understood the power and influence of groups like Black Panther Party and Black Radicals were especially targeted and eliminated in one way or the other. Murdered like Fred Hampton, exiled like Assata Shakur, or sentenced for a lifetime on trumped-up charges like David Rice, a.k.a. Mundo Wilanga, who died earlier this year in a Nebraska prison, maintaining his innocence until the very last. What about Romaine Fitzgerald? He holds the distinction of being the longest-held Black Panther Party member. Fitzgerald, who has been caged for nearly 47 years, has come up for parole 17 times and denied each time. What about Roger Howell? For crusading against police corruption, Powell was set up and falsely convicted of first-degree burglary and assault. What about the Patriot Act? Aunt Marie Mason. Thanks to the Patriot Act, she is now serving the longest sentence of any environmentalist activist. Now to the current situation of two black men who do have some notoriety and share a similar fate because of their commitment to a more just and less racist world. Mumia Abu-Jamal is an international political prisoner. The former Black Panther and member of MOVE has projected his case for decades through his powerful voice, both in print and video. Mumia was a prolific writer and radio journalist before he was wrongly convicted of killing a Philadelphia cop. Despite being in solitary confinement for most of his 30 years, Mumia valiantly fought for his life before a national campaign forced the courts to take him off death row in 2011 and gave him life without the possibility of parole. Mumia is now fighting for his life literally. Last year, photos of frail Mumia were released to the public with a plea to force the Philadelphia prison authorities to get him proper medical treatment. We now know that Mumia has hepatitis C and diabetes. About 6,000 of the state's 36,500 prisoners are infected with hep C. A judge recently denied Mumia's motion to receive the expensive antiviral, which has about a 95% cure rate. This is a troubling case where two racist and humane systems, the prison and the medical industrial complexes, collide. The name Imam Jamal Al-Amin may be meaningless to most, but not his previous name of H. Rap Brown. Brown holds a special place in the Black Power movement as the fiery chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC. He later became a Muslim and changed his name. September 16th is a national day of action to bring attention to Al-Amin's legal and medical issues. He was harassed and hounded for years before Georgia authorities could find a case to stick. In 2000, Al-Amin was snatched up and convicted of murdering two sheriff deputies. He has been fighting for his freedom ever since. Alamein's supporters have accused the Georgia prison authorities of execution by neglect. The imam has been diagnosed with cancer of the plasma cells. He also suffers from Sjogren's syndrome, a chronic autoimmune inflammatory disease. Like Mumia, Alamein has been caught in the middle of two catastrophic systems. Their unique stories as political prisoners are part of the unwritten collective tragedy of nearly 2 million people languishing in U.S. jails and courts. There is much more I have later if you're interested in finding more information on the political prisoners. I have websites where you can go and do further research if you'd like. But due to the time, I'm going to stop on the political prisoners held in U.S. cages a decade. And then there's also some additional information in the handout that you have that I'm not going to cover for the sake of time. But I do want to, Brother Roger sent me this email and when he informed me that my paper was the perimeter of this immense subject of criminal justice, and said for me to address the political prisoner situation as well as the prison industrial complex. And because that too is so time consuming, I'm not going to try to cover all of it, but in my research I found a paper that was done by our dear sister Angela Davis on just that. And I threw all the research that I had done for hours in the trash, because what she did was put it all together in a very succinct manner. So let me share some of what she has to say about the prison industrial complex. Imprisonment has become the response of first resort to far too many of the social problems that burden people who are ensconced in poverty. These problems often are veiled by being conveniently grouped together under the category crime and by the automatic attribution of criminal behavior to people of color. Homelessness, unemployment, drug addiction, mental illness, and illiteracy are only a few of the problems that disappear from public view when the human beings contending with them are relegated to cages. Prisons thus perform a feat of magic, or rather the people who continually vote in new prison bonds and tactically ascend to a proliferated network of prisons and jails have been tricked into believing in the magic of imprisonment. But prisons do not disappear problems, they disappear human beings. And the practice of disappearing vast numbers of people from poor, immigrant, and racially marginalized communities has literally become big business. The seeming effortlessness of magic always conceals an enormous amount of behind-the-scenes work. When prisons disappear human beings in order to convey the illusion of solving social problems, penal infrastructures must be created to accommodate a rapidly swelling population of caged people. Goods and services must be provided to keep imprisoned populations alive. Sometimes these populations must be kept busy, and other times, particularly in repressive super-maximum prisons and in detention centers, they must be deprived of virtually all meaningful activity. Vast numbers of handcuffed and shackled people are moved across state borders as they are transferred from one state or federal prison to another. All this work, which used to be the primary province of government, is now also performed by private corporations, whose links to government in the field of what is euphemistically called reparations resonate dangerously with the military-industrial complex. The dividends that accrue from investment in the punishment industry, like those that accrue from investment in weapons production, only amount to social destruction. Taking into account the structural similarities and profitability of business-government linkages in the realm of military production, and public punishment, and expanding the penal system characterized as a prison industrial complex. Almost 2 million people are currently locked up in the immense network of U.S. prisons and jails. More than 70% of the imprisoned population are people of color. It is rarely acknowledged that the fastest growing group of prisoners are black women, and the Native American prisoners are the largest group per capita. Approximately 5 billion people, including those on probation and parole, are directly under surveillance of criminal justice. As prisons proliferate in U.S. societies, private capital has become enmeshed in the punishment industry, and precisely because of their profit potential, prisons are becoming increasingly important in the U.S. economy. If the notion of punishment as a source of potentially stupendous profits is disturbing by itself, then the tragic dependence on racist structures and ideologies are to render mass punishment palatable and profitable is even more troubling. Now, I'm not going to finish, but there was one thing that I found that I really want to share with you about the prison industrial complex that I think might blow your mind. The raw material of the prison industrial complex is what?
People.
Inmates, the poor, the homeless, and the mentally ill, drug dealers, drug addicts, alcoholics, and a wide assortment of violent sociopaths. About 70% of the prison inmates in the United States are illiterate. Perhaps 200,000 of the country's inmates suffer from a serious mental illness. A generation ago, such people were handled primarily by the mental health, not the criminal justice system. 60 to 80% of the American inmate population has a history of substance abuse. Meanwhile, the number of drug inmate population has a history of. Meanwhile, the number of drug treatment slots in American prisons has declined by more than half since 1993. Drug treatment is now available to just 1 in 10 of the inmates who need it. Among those arrested for violent crimes, the population who are African American men has changed little over the past 20 years. The next says so. Now, this is another thing, this is going to conclude. This is what I'm going to tell you about the big business of prison. Prisons provide telephone service to prisons and jails, and it is a profitable big business. The nearly 2 million inmates in the United States and ideal customers. Phone calls are one of their few links to the outside world. Most of their calls must be made collect, and they are in no position to switch long-distance areas. A payphone at a prison can generate as much as $15,000 a year, about 5 times the revenue of a typical payphone on the street. It is estimated that inmate calls generate $1 billion or more in revenue each year. The business has become so lucrative that MCI installed its inmate phone service, maximum security throughout the California prison system at no charge. As part of the deal, it also offers the California Department of Corrections a 32% share of the revenues from inmate phone calls. The MCI maximum security has a $3 surcharge to every call. When free enterprise intersects with the capital market, abuses are bound to occur.
Yes.
MCI maximum security in North America intercom have both been called overcharges for calls made by inmates. In one state, MCI was added an additional minute to every call. Oh. That's what it is.
We'd like to thank. Oh, careful. Sister Rhonda so much. Number one, she's burning up here. But number two, she's a fill-in, and she did all this research to present to us.
Yes.
I don't know if you have any questions. Maybe you can entertain them with her a little later, but let's please give her a warm thank you. And again, so many times our political prisoners are left out, and people just throw them away and don't pay any attention to them. And they are people out of our community. They're our fathers, they're our sisters and mothers in some cases. So I want to encourage you to look up the political prisoners that she talked about, and if you have any prisoners in your family, send them a letter, send them $10. I have a young man in Indianapolis. Every birthday I send him 50. Every Kwanzaa I send him 50. And he's got life without parole. And that's the least I can do. So, alrighty. And at this time, I see the sisters sitting on steps. She ready? Play a Rose out of Selma. If you haven't been to the Jubilee down there, you're missing something.
All right, this has been great. I'm going to do something a little different. I know people, we get all this information and it's so much. So I'm going to add a little culture and music in my presentation as a part of what I feel we can do to remedy some of the things in education. But first I had to relate to what the doctor said. When we had the tracking movement in Selma against racial tracking, you heard, it went on for like a full year. And the mayor of Selma arranged 1,000 bar complaints against me, literally. And algebra was my attorney, by the way. That's how far back I go with algebra. This was like 1990. But it's interesting because as I was taking this, I countersued. I just couldn't be sued. I had to take the offensive. So I countersued him when we were taking his deposition. I asked my law partner to ask him, has he ever called me the B word? And he wouldn't answer. So to make a long story short, during the break, he knew I had breast cancer. So he says to me, well, I don't know if you want any advice from me, but I know a really good doctor. I said, well, give it up. And he gave me the name of this doctor, Dr. Medinica in South Carolina, who was like 20 years ahead of his time. Men were flying in from France taking for AIDS, and he was curing them. And it's interesting because in a way this man kind of saved my life, because if he hadn't tried to disbar me, I would not have found out about Dr. Medinica. And I didn't know I had a second breast cancer, so when he recommended me to Dr. Medinica, I had to call my doctor. And when I called my doctor to send the records to Dr. Medinica, he said, well, by the way, we found another cancer. I wouldn't have known. It's the power of God. But that's just an aside. But what's so interesting is that because Dr. Medinica, he was what I call an Afro-European. Y'all say Afro-European.
Afro-European.
But see, since all of us came from Africa, I think we should call white people what they are. They're Afro-Europeans. That's what they are. That's right. But my doctor was an Afro-European. And so Muhammad Ali used to come to him. That's how he was a great doctor. But they took away his license because he was different, because he was a threat to the medical profession. Now that's not what I'm here to talk about, but I just had to make that relationship. Dealing with education, I'm talking to the choir. Y'all know that we came from a great culture of education, a civilization 5,000 years ago. Y'all know about Kemet. Y'all know about the builders of the pyramids. Unfortunately, our children don't know. Most of our people believe their history started with slavery, and that things were so bad in Africa that literally it was good news that we were brought here. And there is a trustee on the board of Miles College who actually told that to our students.
Wow.
That's the level of miseducation that we are addressing as I speak.
Ben Carson said the same thing.
There was a conference after slavery. We know about all the laws that made it against the law for slavery. And we go to church every Sunday, many of us, and we hear the story about the people of Israel escaping the Pharaohs. But you never hear anyone say that it was against the law for them to read, that it was against the law for them to marry, that it was against the law for them to worship their God, that it was against the law for families to unite. Slavery in America clearly was the most dehumanized and worst slavery in human history. And we are victims of that slavery now. And the main reason, the main source of our miseducation is our schools and our churches. Let's be clear. The main institutions that keep us miseducated are our schools and our churches. So if we're going to address this miseducation problem, the education problem, we have to make sure that we understand how that happened. Even during slavery, our people had underground schools. I just found this out. There was a book called, I got the name, they said they actually dug holes in the ground and made underground caves for them to slip away to educate themselves. We lost that fever. We lost it. How did we lose it? We have to address that question. The Mohan Conference, those of you who've heard Dr. Winbush speak, you've heard, I didn't know about the Mohan Conference till I heard Dr. Winbush speak. Well, they came together after the end of slavery, said we can no longer make it illegal for these colored folks to read, so how are we going to maintain this miseducation of the Negro? So they were very wise. They had this conference, they wouldn't even let Booker T. Washington come, okay? And they crafted a whole plan to keep us miseducated for eternity. And to make it short, basically what they said, we have to make sure that the teachers who teach them miseducate them. We have to make sure the teachers who teach them make them believe that they're inferior and that they are not as good, not as smart, not as moral as white people. And to this day, many of our teachers continue the mission of the Mohan Conference. So I want to briefly talk about how to deal with that. Deal with this, right? Because we know the problem exists. We know, based upon what the sister told us last night about the evil twins, black inferiority, white supremacy. I mean, those are the evil twins. And to address this education problem, we have to deal with the evil twins. And I'm not talking about dealing with white folk. Don't you know, it's like a bully. You can't bully a person that refuses to be bullied. I got 2 grandchildren. I got 9, but one just won't be bullied, so nobody bullies her. One is easily bullied, so everybody bullies her. So I'm telling you, if we would not drink the poison of white supremacy, they wouldn't give it to us to drink. The only reason why they give it to us is because they know we'll take it. So when we get to the point where we say we reject the poison, we know it's poison, you continue to drink it. You can be a white supremacy, but I don't know who you think you're going to be supreme of, because the show ain't going to be me or my children. That's what we're going to have to do. Right. And how do we do it? And that's what I want to spend the last few minutes, because I know time is of the essence. Before I do it, let me tell you a quick little story. If you've heard it, hold up your hand, I won't tell you. You heard the story about the elephant? Y'all heard the story about the elephant? Okay, I'll tell it real quick. Okay? Well, in parts of India, I'm talking fast, so I have time for the other speakers. In parts of India, the beast of burden was the elephant. When the elephant is very small, they know that this beautiful beast will be strong and powerful. So when it's a baby, they take a 3-foot rope and they tie it around his precious ankle and a stake, and they drill the stake into the ground. And each time the elephant walks to the extent of the 3-foot rope, she stops. And she cannot go no further because she's not strong enough. She struggles to be free, but she's not strong enough. She struggles day after day. But after a while, she gives up and stops struggling. When she stops struggling, they replace the chain. It's a chain that's initially put on her. He's heard the story. The chain is replaced with a 3-foot rope. And by this time that the elephant is fully grown, one of the most powerful animals walking the earth, when the elephant walks to the extent of the 3-foot rope and feels that rope on her ankle, she stops. The rope is now no longer around her ankles, it is around her mind. The problem, my people, and we all know it, I'm talking to the choir, It's the chain is behind, around the minds of our people. The sister referred to it as the mindset. How do we remove the chain? That's our mission. Reparations, without the healing and all the stuff we're talking about, will not re-heal it. How do we heal it? And I want to give 3 or 4 of those small suggestions on what I think we can begin to do to heal it. I want to remind you of the African proverb I said earlier, mighty rivers are filled what?
One drop at a time.
If you expect to see the chains removed, forget it. You are planting the seeds. What happened is the civil rights movement stopped planting the seeds. The Black Power movement did, the nationalist movement did. By the time they killed them off, people stopped planting the seeds. Diane Nash, who was leader of the Freedom Ride, said if they had just began to study the history and the impact of racism on the mind, that we would be a far more ahead than we are today. So we got to start planting the seeds to remove the chains. I'm just going to give some simple suggestions of things we need to do. You got to start. You got to do some of the things the Jews did, but they weren't the first. In the 60s, they had what? Freedom schools. SNCC had freedom schools. The Black Panthers had breakfast programs. They had contact with the people on a daily basis. They had contact with the children on a daily basis. Don't wait for no grant. If you got to, this summer when we started the program, we didn't have no grant, we didn't have no money, but we had us. So I now have 5 people come to that school because they saw some dedication to plant those seeds. Make sure that they understand that history and reward the children for learning the history. I give them the $2 bills. Reward them. Dr. Winbush suggests in his book that we encourage parents to turn off the TV and read to their children 30 minutes a day, planting the seeds. How do you start? Start with yourself. Are you reading to your children and your grandchildren 30 minutes a day? If you're not doing it and you're the conscious one, don't expect the people who are not in this room to do it. When you get to the point where you can do it, and then you are an example of this seed planting, then you have the moral authority to go and teach others. Another thing, have camps. Have reparation camps. You can pull together just and get some young people, say for a full week, we're going to talk about this history. We're going to talk about why reparations is necessary and why you must be a freedom scholar. Now, we have freedom riders, right? Y'all, all the riding in the world ain't going to change this now. We need freedom scholars to free the mind. Freedom scholars. Reward the children for reading. Freedom scholars. Now, what I want to do now is to share with you some songs from a book I wrote with some young people, because I wanted to be able to teach history in a fun way. History can be boring. So I wanted to be able to teach them the history that makes them want to relive it. Sister Yomi, is she here? Where is she? Okay. Well, we were able, through the help of Asa Hilliard and Tony Browder, we were able, before Brother Asa died, we brought them into Selma, and we were able to convince a school system to infuse Black history. And I wish you would see the plays that she has done with the materials in this book with Black history. But what I want to do is just give you an example of what we do. Everything in this book is written in the first person, and there's a song for every era of history. So we began with Ma'at, okay, the principles of Ma'at. So the song to teach them, and every era of history has a song, so if the children forget some of the details of the story, they can remember the principles of the song. Ma'at, Ma'at, that's what I'm talking about. Ma'at, Ma'at, let me tell you about truth, justice. Y'all got the idea, right? I can't sing long, we don't have much time. But there's a song. So, when we started talking about this brother in the book, oh, I love it, Amit Baba, this brother, when I went to Timbuktu with Dr. Hilliard, he cried when he saw these writings. You see those hands? that is the writing of this Amit Baba. He wrote a treatise countering Machiavelli the Prince. Now, how many of y'all know Dr. Asa Hilliard? The man cried. Those are his hands. When he saw this writing, he cried. The genius of our people overwhelmed him. This man that wrote about math and science and every conceivable subject, and as smart as Dr. Hilliard was, he didn't even know this. He didn't even know this. So we wrote a song about it. I didn't know I was blind until you found me. I didn't know how until you taught me how to see. I didn't know I had a father across the waters. I'm a Baba and a million others. I didn't know I had a mother who gave birth to history. Now that my mind has been enlightened and my spirit set free, I can feel the mighty, mighty rivers rising, telling me to set my people free. Telling me to set my people free. For the children, when they sing that song, and there is a CD at the back of the book sung by the children in the only school system in Alabama that is infused in this history. I'll take that back. Now we have 2 schools. And believe it or not, in Selma, they invited her to do this in the 6th grade. We are making progress, brothers and sisters.
They done messed up. They invited me into the public school.
So there's a song we were the first to read and write. We were the first to do, I'm not going to sing that, to study day and night. So we get over to the Civil War, right? So we have taught kids 3 or 4 years old. They can tell you more about the Civil War than their parents and some college students. And this is the song we taught them about the Civil War. And, okay, so y'all can repeat, y'all just repeat the line after me and her. Or y'all can repeat with them. 200,000 men.
200,000 men.
200,000 black men.
200,000 black men.
40,000 died.
40,000 died.
We sing this song for the forgotten ones.
We sing this song for the forgotten ones.
We sing this song for the brave and the strong.
We sing this song for the brave and the strong.
Who fought to end slavery.
Who fought to end slavery.
They died for you and me.
They died for you and me.
That's just an example of the songs. And of course, one of the ones I know y'all would love. We are an African people. We are an African people. We are an African people. Don't you forget it. That's a song written by Sister Jane Sapp. So I'm encouraging all of y'all to buy this book. I don't have it to sell tonight. So if you don't have no money, you don't have to be embarrassed. We have a wonderful museum. The other thing, museums. Take children to museum, expose them to the history. And if you don't have one, make one. Y'all, we didn't have no money to start this museum. And the sister here can tell you, it is a homemade museum. But she will tell you the feeling that you get because we just got a ship, made it a slave ship. We got artists that drew beautiful things around the wall. We brought things from Kemet, from Africa. You can create your own little museum in your community, in your thing, in the basement of your church. So I just want to encourage you in terms of this education battle. It is if we don't educate or re-educate to free the minds, we'll never get reparations. We won't even have sustainable civil rights. The environment will suffer. We won't get medical care for our people. They will continue to target people like the doctor and people like us. They will continue to demonize us, and our people will continue to believe the lies that they must have done something wrong. Why is the FBI there? They will believe the lies. So to me, the most important task that we have to do is to deal with the miseducation of our people. Carter G. Woodson said it best. It is not the lynching of the neck, but the lynching of the mind. That is the greatest challenge that faces our people. If there's no back door, we will carve out a back door. When you see all the violence and the destruction in our community, that is children calling out that back door, because nobody's told them that they're good enough, pretty enough, and smart enough to walk through the front door. We are the ones that they have been waiting for, to speak up and to make sure that we make this the top priority. Now, it's not just enough to teach black history. I'm going to tell you that. That's a good start. When we were trying to detract a school in Sumter County, I went to Asa. He said, Rose, start with math. He said, if you can convince black children they can do math, you can convince them of everything else. Start with math. And that's what we did. We started with math. Go into your schools. Volunteer to be storytellers in your school. You don't have to pay me a dime. They won't let me into most of the schools in Selma. They let me outside of Selma. Tell them I'm there. I will be there, not just Black History Month. I will be there every week if necessary to teach your children, because the children are anxious to learn. I'm in with this. I went to one school. One principal did invite me, and he was having a lot of problems with this school, with elementary school. So you got to be creative. So I went in there with a book on Michael Jordan. Somebody they can relate to. Somebody in history they know. And I went in there and said, I'm trying to find the lost people. I said, the people are lost. Can y'all help me find them? He said, where are they? I said, I don't know. I need y'all to help me find them. I said, but the clues are in this book. So I gave them each a book. And I said, what you got to do is you got to read this book and try to help me figure out who the lost people are and how we can find them. You should have, the principal said, I've never seen children that focused on reading since I've been in this school. Use your creative minds to reach them. Reach them by any means necessary. We're going to get on a bus tomorrow. I probably won't get no sleep because my driver just called and told me that child said she can't drive the van. I'm depending on her to drive the van. She's going to tell me she can't drive it. Another driver say he can't drive it. Now, what could I say? I can say, I'm 72 and I can't leave Dallas and drive all the way to Washington?
Wow.
What if Harriet Tubman is, I can't go back and free no more Negroes? We got to get beyond excuses. And the last thing, I want y'all to order this calendar, EJI. There's a lot of free stuff you can use. EJI gives this calendar away. And every day, there's something about our black people. Like this week, they talk about the syphilis study in Tuskegee. It happened during this time in June. It talks about people who were lynched and people who were killed. And also the good things, the black soldiers who fought. Get this free calendar. If nothing else, once a day, share it with your children, your people, and your family. Call your neighbors and friends and have that conversation about reparations and a reason why. It's called popular education. Don't wait for the schools to do it because they never will. A man told me, and I'm going to my seat, I was with Tuskegee last week with the NAACP on a conference with lynching, and this NAACP man said he got a rude awakening when a Jewish woman told him, how do you expect to be free when you let the same people who oppress you teach your children? How can you, sir, how can you ever expect to be free? Y'all think about that. How can we expect to be free? The system is designed to keep us ignorant, to keep us believing in the twins. Lastly, let's go back to those study groups. We stopped. I stopped because it was hard. Sometimes only 2 people came. Ours was called anti-fear. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. It's false evidence appearing real. I don't care what you call it. Have those study groups. Go into the communities and have them. Don't expect them to come here. Go to Miss Sally's house and say, can we use your living room some nights? Can we just use your living room on your porch in the summertime, one day a week? Y'all, we can do this, but as I said earlier, we have to be what? consistent, persistent, and resilient. Thank you so much.
Let's give Flower Rose a hand. Asante Sana. Brothers and sisters, we must save our children. So when you leave here today, you've gotten a lot of information. Many of you were here earlier today. You got information, and it's not about what you say. It's about what you do. And I'd like for everybody to make a commitment. NCOBRA has called for study groups. Many years ago, the first study group I was in, well, it wasn't the first study group, but anyway, ASCAT called for study groups, and many study groups popped up around the country. And we need to get back to that, as the sister said. We want to say thank you very much. Right now, I'm going to bring Jeffrey Muhammad up for a few moments to talk to you, have a conversation with you.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is but one God. He is the sender of all prophets, revealer of all divine truth. I thank him for raising the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is my teacher, and I thank Allah for him over and over. Now, I probably have the most difficult job here today, they say, but I don't believe that, and you're going to help me prove that wrong. I'm here to ask you to donate. Now, everyone who is here today, you already support our move for reparations, right?
Yes.
You know we deserve reparation, and we are owed reparation. Do we have to convince anybody in here of that? At the least, you are interested in finding out about reparations. Now, if by chance there is one person in here who came here tonight because you don't believe we're owed reparations and you're going to try to start an argument later on, don't do it. You're in the wrong place. But I want you to give some money too. So we want to start. I want to ask who here right now can give a donation in cash or write a check for $1,000. Who can do that? Now, I don't believe black people are poor. And let me tell you, Dr. Edwards came up and did a wonderful presentation, didn't he? Okay, give him another round of applause. And you saw the movie, the video, how much money we spend on movies. Black people are not poor. Our sister came up here and sang all of those beautiful songs, and we love going to concerts and spending a lot of money, right? Yeah, I say we like going to concerts and spending a lot of money, right? So what we want to do is pool our resources tonight and help NCOBRA. Let's support this organization. Who has $1,000? I'll wait. I don't have long. How many of you wish you had $1,000 you could give it tonight? Raise your black hand. All right, well, let's drop it down. Who can give a $500 donation in here tonight? Anyone in here tonight can give a $500 donation. Anyone? Dr. Edwards, give him a round of applause. He's going to give $500 tonight. Anyone else can match Dr. Edwards? Don't be bashful. Sometimes, and you want to give it incognito, not Negro, incognito. You can do that because sometimes black people don't want to give money because they think that if people see that they have a couple of dollars to give, they're going to try to borrow some. But that's all right. Anybody else have a $500 donation? Just act like you at an auction and do like this and nobody will know. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, you know it's Ramadan. I was in the back just a few minutes ago. I drank a bottle of water. Muslims like vampires during Ramadan. As soon as the sun went down, I drank a bottle of water. It seemed like it just went straight through me. Listen. Who can give a $100 donation? Who will do that? We have a sister here that will give a $100 donation. We have a brother over here that's going to give a $100 donation. I have a check here for $100. That's another $100 donation. Where are our mathematicians? Where are we at right now? We're at 800. Can we get to 1,000 right quick? Anyone else with a $100 donation? Freedom is not free.
That's the truth.
We want reparations. There can be no reparations without land, right? But I also want my check of this worthless money while it still has some value. We can't just get a check and say, okay, that's reparations. No, because we're going to all go buy a Cadillac and the wife ain't going to get all the money right back. We want some land so that we can begin to produce our own needs. You can't have a free people without land. But we also want the money they owed us. If they gave us what they owed us, they'd have to give us the whole country. You know this. Who wants to give $100 to support this organization? Okay, let's add 50. Who has $50? We need 4 people with $50 and we can reach $1,000. We have Brother Rogers over here with $50. Who else? Brother Coop with $50. 2 more people with $50. And you would have proven that my job was real easy tonight. We have a sister right here with $50. Anyone else? Anyone else? One more $50 donation, we'll be at $1,000. Anyone else? I'm so thankful to Allah to just be alive today. Are you?
Yes, sir.
Every day we wake up is a wonderful day. All praise is due to Allah. So let's ask, who has a $20 donation? Everybody have something in your pocket. Now, you're not getting out of here tonight without giving something. You can forget that. I wanted to make sure I told the brothers, post up right there so they don't think this intermission. This ain't intermission. We're doing serious work right now. Okay, anyone else? $20 donation. 20. You got a debit card. We're going to have to work out something with Sister Kwesi. Anyone else? Okay, my brother here, he gave 20.
We can take care of the debit card.
Oh, no. I come prepared. I normally have my preacher rag, but... Anyone else have a $20 donation? Oh, it's hot, but I ain't going nowhere till we get this money. Brother right there has a $20 donation. Anyone else with a $20 donation? Okay, this is what we want. We should be real close to 1,000. Brother right here with a $20 donation. Praise due to Allah. Y'all give them a round of applause. If you wish you had some money, then clap for them. Okay, now this is what we need everybody to do. Reach in your pocket and get something. Do not leave here tonight without having given something. And we know people travel from all over. We have people here from London, right? From overseas, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so we know you spent money to get here, but we still want to ask